Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle, and this is the 2013 Eastern Conference Finals preview. The matchup is between the number 1 seed Miami Heat and the number 3 seed Indiana Pacers. Now let's look at this matchup. We're going to talk about some of the keys to victory, which for Miami, they've got to play their game. They can't let the Pacers force them into their game because Miami, they've got a great defense, they're strong on offense, they've got a great transition game, and while Miami is not known for their bench play specifically, they've got a good one. They've got, for one thing, Ray Allen. When you've got Ray Allen on your bench, you've got the advantage. They got Ray Allen, Shane Battier. They got a lot of three-point shooters. They can spread the floor. They've got LeBron and D-Wade. They can shoot the three, but these are guys who are known for driving the paint. And so they've got to be able to dominate in the lane. They've got to be able to drive and dish. It starts with penetration. They've also got to be able to force turnovers and get in that transition game. That's where they take their advantage. The transition game, spreading the floor, and they have to be able to enforce their will on the Pacers defense. And for the Pacers, who, for those of you who don't really know this, they actually won the regular season series 2-1. And so for the Pacers, the keys for them, it starts with Roy Hibbert, honestly. It's got to go from big men down because Miami cannot defend the paint. They cannot play strong on the inside. So it starts with Roy Hibbert having big games and dominating like we've seen him do in some of the matchups, in some of the previous matchups. You saw him in 2 games against New York getting those 20 points. That's what we need from him. He needs to get 20 points. He needs to have those 10 rebounds. It would help if he had 20 rebounds. That would be so much better. And he needs to have those 4 or 5 blocks a game. He has to be able to dominate the paint on both ends of the floor to give Miami fits, because Miami does not have a single player on their roster that can single-handedly stop him. If he gets the ball in the low block, that's pretty much it. All he has to do is throw up the hook. But if he gets it a little outside of the paint, then they can put a double on him, and he's not really known for his passing. So that's one thing the Pacers have to do. They have to get the ball to Roy Hibbert, and he has to show up on both offense and defense. His production has to be there. We have to see the numbers. And it's not enough for him to simply be there and help. He has to dominate on both ends of the floor because he's that one player that can be an X factor and give Miami fits. Because yes, George Hill needs to be hitting those 3-pointers and dishing it. David West needs to be that solid defender. Get the double doubles like he always does for this team. Be that consistent veteran leader. Paul George, he definitely needs to play hard on both ends of the floor, guarding LeBron James, driving to the paint, getting those triple doubles. And those 3 guys, you can almost always count on them, almost. So if all 3 of them can do their job, and it still won't necessarily be a game, it's the X factors are the other 2 guys. Lance Stephenson, can he turn it on like he did in Game 6? Can Roy Hibbert have a 20-20 game? Because if he does, Miami really doesn't stand a chance. Now, with that in mind, the Pacers, they have no bench, and they play very inconsistently. They just can't seem to win on the road. And so I'm picking Miami to win in 6. I think the Pacers, they're going to push Miami. They're going to challenge them. But they seem like they could potentially be a championship team, but they're not there yet. Like I said, they haven't played consistently enough. Not to mention that Miami, they've got a lot more experience on their side of the ball. They've got a lot more players who have been there, done that. And I think that could play a huge factor in this. But the one thing I will say is that you have to play the game. I hate how everyone's already been giving Miami the championship since before the regular season even started, because that's bullshit. You can't see the future. Nobody can. That's why you actually play the game. So while I'm expecting Miami to win, do not underestimate the Pacers. Because if Miami underestimates the Pacers, you will have a surprising Eastern Conference champion.